the bar, I'm too persistent with comment, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me.
Yo, people, how we telling it? To go and Njies back again. You know, the building. And when you see me in these kind of settings, standing up and them thing there, you know that it's a different kind of video. I'm not in my chair, you don't see the big screen. I am the main focus point, the main focal point and all of them thing there, you know what I'm saying? Because the other day I literally was like, yo, I need to come up with some different ideas and them thing there to basically integrate onto the channel so that you man aren't just seeing reactions. And also what I like about my channel is that there's a part of me in every single segment of this channel. It's very diverse, people that like different things, you know what I mean? The goofy ones like me, the music lovers like me, the people that can get down and, you know what I mean, talk about some real issue like me. So that's one of these videos. Obviously this is the first time doing this type of video. I did my top 10 tracks of December. That was my first ever time I introduced this new little, you know what I mean? And it was, you know what I'm saying, it did alright, but I'm gonna keep doing them because the more consistency, that's what's key on all of them thing there. And I wanted to also just create like where we can basically create a community where we can talk about different just different things, man. If you know Taekwondo, shout out Taekwondo, wavy YouTuber blood, you know what I'm saying? The way his channel is formatted, I don't necessarily want to do it like that, but just a channel where we can have a laugh, but we can also get serious as well with it, you know what I mean? And this Let's Talk series, it's not just always gonna be like big heartfelt type of let's really talk about some real issue, you know what I mean? It might be some dumb meme that's going around. I might create a Let's Talk series or episode or whatever. There might be some dumb news going around, or I might want to talk about, I know, men, women, you know what I'm saying, the state of society, technology, like whatever blood. It can be whatever blood, serious, funny, whatever. That's what this series is basically for. So today, I thought, why not start off with religion? Because when it comes to my journey with religion, it's been a bit of a, I don't know, it's been a bit of a weird one. In terms of both sides of my family, having different family members that are part of different religions, not following the same thing 24/7, all of them thing there. So yeah, man, let's just get into it. Also, best way to start a video and original content or just videos in general, press the record button and just go from there. Don't even think about it, man, because when you start to think of plans and all of them thing that, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna say this, all starts to get so jumbled up and hectic and them thing there. So let's get into it, man. Alright, so religion, blood. It's definitely a touchy-feely subject. I remember when I did my first ever, it was like Islamic poetry, and I was contemplating. I even asked my mum, should I do this video, because I was wondering with the internet and all of them thing there, should you really be talking about religion, because it's a very touchy subject. You say certain things, certain people get offended and all of them thing there, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you talk about it in a certain way, be as respectful as you can, and just talk about it from your like point of view, and also what you built yourself on. And in terms of what I've built myself on, I'm sure people can take me very seriously, because I've definitely done reactions where I've made you man laugh. I'm sure I've had reactions where I've made you guys think, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I didn't think, eventually I was like, this isn't going to be a problem, so here's what it is. We're here and all of them thing there. Now, if you've been a loyal subscriber and all of them thing there, you know what I'm saying? If you've been a loyal subscriber and all of them thing there, you know what I'm saying, you would know that sometimes I say certain things about Islam or certain words that it would kind of make you think that, oh, is he actually Muslim? Does he know what he's talking about type of thing? All of them thing there. So, cool. I was born in 1999, you know what I'm saying? And I lived in England from 1999 to 2006. And on my mum's side of my family, I have Christians, I have Muslims, I have people that don't necessarily believe in or necessarily follow a religion, but believe in spirituality, believe that there is a higher power, or what Jamaicans sometimes say, the most high, means that, you know, saying the most powerful person, but don't necessarily follow a certain conduct of Christianity or Islam or Sikhism or anything like that, you know what I mean? So I have a very diverse type of people on my mum's side of my family, and then on my dad's side of my family, they're just all basically Muslims. And I think the difference is with my mum's side of my family, basically when you get to the Western world, and when the Western world gets involved, a big majority of my family live in the Western world, meaning that with social media, with friends being integrated into different cultures, all of them things there, you grow up and you basically take your own path. So my my great grandparents, my grandmom, they might be religious, you know what I mean? Not to say that they are, but like scenario, let's say my grandparents, great grandparents, that come from a cultural background, you know what I mean, they moved and migrated to England, you know what I'm saying, they are themselves are religious people. Then when it comes to their children, now that they were born here, been integrated in so many different things, now they kind of have reign to choose which path they want to go on, you know what I mean. And in terms of my great grandparents and my grandparents, I'm not necessarily strict on them things, because I'm definitely sure that there's certain Nigerians, certain Indian people, Asian people that are very strict on their religion and they stick to that. But because they're in, no matter how strict your parents can be, at the end of the day, when you're in the Western world, whether they know about it or not, you're gonna take your own path. You know what I'm saying? You might start drinking, you know what I mean? You might not start for beyond Dean like that, you know what I mean? You might kind of fall off the wagon, all of them things there. No matter how strict your parents are, because that's what the Western world does, it exposes you to so many different things that you basically go on your own path. And with my dad's side of the family, they're all, majority still live in Gambia. So they're born, this is what they know, this is what they've always known. They're not really integrating with too many different cultures, you know what I mean? Like for example, if you talk about the different cultures in England, you might, this percent is Jamaican, this percent is Asian, this percent is, you know what I'm saying, this percent is, like, the culture is very, you know what I'm saying, diverse and all of them things. When you go to Gambia, 90% of the country is Gambian. So this is what I know, this is what I've always known, this is what I'm gonna follow and abide by. So I've never met a family member on my dad's side that isn't Gambian, because that's all they know, that's their construct. Even if they have moved to the Western world, they've moved there at a later age, you know what I mean? So they still follow it. So I was born in England in 99, lived here since 2006, then moved to Gambia with my mum. More times when people move to back home, more so it's because that they've have like disciplinary issues and all of them thing there. They've been bad at school, they can't be handled, so they ship them to England, to Africa, they ship them back to whatever Asian country they come from and all of them thing there, in hopes that reforms them, and then they come back. That doesn't really work, because you're not really doing anything, you're not actively actually trying to change them, you're just trying to change the environment and hoping that something happens. That's not what I moved. My mum basically moved me to Gambia so I would avoid things like the gang life, all of them things. Certain, you know what I'm saying, and I'm definitely in the area where I'm around it, but not too heavy like that, you know what I'm saying, because I also live next to a university, you know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying, if you're doing certain things realistically where all these students are, you're not going to be on an absolute mazzoline, but I am still around it, you know what I mean. Like, you got the university there, then things are going in here and here and here, you know what I mean. So I am close to it, but not at the same time. But the person I ain't dumb. I know what I am, I know my capabilities, I know what I'm built for, I know what I'm not built for. I'm always gonna back myself, you know what I'm saying. If I'm in any situation, I can definitely call on people, but I'm not gonna put myself in certain situations and act like I'm about this life and about that life, you know what I'm saying. It's not worth it, blood. And I always say the only time really you should be on road if you're making big peas. Like, I mean big peas. If you're not making big, like, what's the point, bruv? You know what I'm saying? Just a little change in that to really get hooked up, whole life gets thrown away. There's no point. So yeah, 1999, 2006 in England. Did not have to follow any type of religion, because obviously, as I said, in terms of my family, my mom, my three sisters on my mom's side, none of them are religious but do believe in a higher power, you know what I'm saying, but they don't follow a certain religion. So I didn't have to follow any type of religion myself, so I was just living my life normal. Then I moved to Gambia in 2006. In 2000, as I always say, I lived in Gambia from 2006 to 2014. So 2006, I moved to Gambia, and I wouldn't say it was about till, because my brain is fried, man. My memory is very bad, so I don't know at what age really when I really started to pray and all of them things. I guess it was when I was starting to move and meet my family on my dad's side. And the thing is, with my family, they basically have like different compounds and all of them thing there. So it's like, you know, like here, like in this house, I live me, my mom, my sister. You know what I'm saying? In Gambia, you'll have like a whole compound, and you'll have uncles, aunties, cousins, sons, like a big ass compound with multiple rooms, and you just have a big, like, you know what I'm saying, big part of the family living there, and you have them in different places, you know what I mean. So I'll probably say that when I really started to integrate with my Gambian family, really started to know who there was, and really started to like learn the language in Gambia, speaking Wolof, speaking Mandinka, integrate myself into society, that's probably when I really started to actually pray and all of them thing there. But this is where it gets techie, because, so I'll probably say, I don't know what, like, 11. I don't know, man. Like 10, 11, maybe younger than that. That's when I, since started to go to the mosque and all of them thing there. Because as I said, my Gambian side of my family, I went to move to Gambia. 95% of the country is Muslim, so I'm expected to also be praying all of them thing there. Because that's where I'm living. I'm now a part of the culture. You get me? That's all I know. So I feel like where my Gambian family went wrong, it's a situation where this is what we know, this is how you do it, this is what you follow, this is what you abide by. They've never had someone like me come into their, coming to the family before, where they're from they didn't keep in mind that I'm from the UK. My mum, on my mum's side, I wasn't living with no Muslims. I don't know how to pray. I don't know surahs like Bismillah and certain other surahs that require you to actually pray. I didn't know like the certain actions and all of them thing there. So realistically, like I'm going to pray and I'm just like following people. Basically, they didn't take into consideration that I've never done this before. So he needs to be taught, he needs to be taught and all of them thing there. So one, that's where they probably went wrong, but they've never dealt with someone like me before. They just know that, oh, you're born, this is the kind of code of conducts that you follow to become, whoever you are, blah blah blah. So, and I was young at the time, so I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't know how to, like, you don't want to learn things, you know what I mean? Like, you know as much free time, as much play time as you want. So I definitely wasn't going to say anything. So the first time that someone really taught me how to pray was basically a big brother of mine, Wavy Dunny, someone called Usman Barrow, who has his own solar enterprise, kind of in like a couple of countries, but it's obviously based in Gambia. He's like the first person that basically told one of his friends, because I used to go stay. Listen, let me just stop here. First of all, let's just take a little pause before we go into this. When it came to me in Gambia, bruv, when I tell you I was outside. As I told you, blood, when it comes to my family compounds, there was many of them. And Gambia isn't like England. When you in England, oh, auntie, I'm coming to your house. Is it okay? Oh, uncle, is it okay if I come over? No, Gambia, you just show up, blood. You know what I'm saying? Because you have family compounds, blood. You just go wherever you want. So I was outside. I had multiple options of where I could go to. I was kind of known because my mum was kind of, in terms of like where she worked at a radio station. She was a manager. She was involved in different projects and all of them thing there. Like, I met the president when I was there. I literally danced for him, the old president, who's kind of a, we won't talk about that, you know what I'm saying, all big, yeah man, political issues and all of them thing there. He's really not that guy, but yeah, once upon a time, the old president, Yahya Jammeh, danced for him, you know what I'm saying. So I always said if I died now, I would definitely be proud of what I've done, of what I've accomplished, because for my age, I've definitely done a lot, you know what I'm saying, travelled, done multiple things. So me and my mum knew a lot of people, and I was known. I go to these people, oh, son, I go here, oh, son, I'll go here, oh, son, you know what I'm saying. So I definitely knew a lot of people, so I wasn't always at home. I was pretty much outside. So when my mum met this Usman Barrow, and I used to go stay with him, basically, he took me on, not necessarily him, but he told one of his friends, oh, teach Sana Bismillah and 3 surahs. But now I've pretty much forgot them. I'm sure it was Bismillah, Kulu Allahu Ahad, and then it was 2 other surahs that were straight under Kulu Allahu Ahad, if I'm sure the way the Quran is formatted. That was the first time someone actually took the time to teach me. But the thing is, this Usman Barrow guy, he kind of had an understanding of the Western world, so he had in his head, oh, Sana doesn't necessarily have any Muslim family. Oh, I do have Muslim family members, as I said, but I wasn't living with them, or there was never a priority to teach me or whatever. So he kept that in his mind, and he knew that. So he said, oh, teach Sana some surahs and all of them thing there. So that's when I was officially knew how to pray. But even then, during when you're praying and that, and when you're performing each action, there's still certain things that you got to have to say. I'm sure a multitude of like 3 times or more times, there's still certain things you got to say, you know what I mean? And still I didn't really know them little segments that you got to say in between each rakah, basically, you know what I mean? So technically I still didn't know how to pray, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much what it was until I left Gambia in 2014. And now I've pretty much forgot all of that, because it's not like there's not a pressure on me to learn that. Once again, I'm in a household where I'm not required to pray. I'm not required to, you know what I'm saying? So when I was in Gambia, obviously I was praying. When Tabaski and Ramadan came and all of them thing there, I was fasting. But the thing about when fasting in Gambia, as I said, the population, 95% of the population is Muslim. So when you're fasting, oh, he's fasting as well, he's fasting as well. You look around you, everyone's fasting. The only people that aren't fasting is people that might be very sick or little kids. So it's easy, blood. You literally go to play out, you're playing football, everyone's fasting around you. It's easy. You know what I mean? To integrate into that. But then when you come to England, now all of a sudden you're in a household where no one's fasting. That's where discipline comes into. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I also say following a religion is good, and also being disciplined, because that's what it teaches you, discipline. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you how to be self-aware. It teaches you about self, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think religion becomes a problem when certain people start to force certain things onto certain people and them thing there, and then start discrediting other religion. Oh, your religion is bad because of this, and you know what I'm saying? Just do your thing. You get me, fam? You don't have to engage in that over there, but you don't have to comment on it as well. You know what I'm saying? You can come together, have the discussion, but just purely just bringing another religion down for the sake of it, or this religion is bad because of this, or da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna get into certain things that people say, because long thing, I ain't about that. You know what I mean? So So basically, I was abiding by everything when I was in Gambia, but that's the thing, I was abiding by. I didn't necessarily know how to. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? I was just doing what everyone else was doing. Yes, my basically my big brother I told you about, Usman Bado, his friend did teach me some sudas, but I was still didn't, you know what I'm saying? I still wasn't fully integrated and knew how to pray like by myself. Alright, just to expand on what I just said right there, I didn't know how to pray by myself. Before I met Usman Baro, who basically took me under his wing for a little while, before that even happened, normally when you pray 5 times a day. The morning prayer, normally when it actually commences, like during the AMs realistically, like late early in the morning, but realistically you don't have to actually wake up at that time. You can just wake up regularly and then perform your 2 rakahs that you need to do. But basically during the morning, you normally pray in the house. You don't go to the mosque for the rest of the day. Cool, you go to the mosque, but during that morning prayer, you just pray in the house. So while I'm in front of people, technically pretending to pray because I didn't know how to, I wasn't, when I was like moving my mouth, I wasn't saying anything. So I would literally be praying, going like, but I wouldn't actually literally be saying absolutely nothing, bruv. I would just be moving my mouth, blood. So that's literally, I remembered that as I was watching this video, as I'm going through it right now, just to make sure everything's cool and emptying there. So yeah, that's literally what I used to do. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know any surahs. I knew the actions, but I didn't know any surahs. They didn't know what to say. So I would literally just be standing there moving my mouth like I was actually saying something. And I wasn't, you know what I mean? But yeah, just remembered that right there, that little fact. So yeah, enjoy the rest. You know what I'm saying? So that whole 2000 and probably like 2010, 11, all the way to 2014. Nah, I'd probably say like 2008, 9. You know what I'm saying? All the way to like 2014, I was just doing what everyone else was doing. I didn't necessarily know how to. And in Gambia, they have basically what you call a dara, which is an Arabic school. So listen to this. You go to school, regular school, English school, learn what you need to learn, finish at like 2, 3, and then you have like an hour's break, and then at like 4, 5 o'clock, you go to Arabic school, which they call dara. I didn't want to go to Arabic school. Why? Because you got beat, blood. I got beat in school as well. That's the thing. In Gambia, in Africa, in most countries, yes, you still get beat, blood. You're late, you get beat. You know what I'm saying? Not like, for example, they'll find like a plank or like a stick or whatever, and then you'll get like 3 lashes to your gluteus maximus and all of them thing there, but it hurts, blood. Like I'm telling you, hurts, blood. You know what I'm saying? But like it hurts, like with full force type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no little, you know what I mean? Like you got licked, blood. If you're being late, if you're being making noise, disrupting people, all of them thing there, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you might get clapped at the back of the head. Like it was normality. My mum didn't want me to get hit. But what am I gonna go say to my mum? Is my mum gonna go change the whole school system and be Mrs. Superwoman? Oh, don't beat my son. Bro, they're beating literally every single kid in the school, fam. It's not like it's just subjective to me. So I would never told my mum that I used to get beat. I might tell her now and she might be surprised by it, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't gonna go tell her, blood. They're beating literally every single kid in here. It's not like they're picking on me, blood. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. So I never told her because it was normality, blood. Everyone's getting beat, so it is what it is, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But what the hell was my point anyway? Alright, cool. That's where I was going with it. How long is this right now? 18 minutes, my team, 18. So yeah, you used to get beat in data, so I couldn't be bothered with that, blood. You know what I'm saying? You go to school, have like go eat your lunch and that, and then you go back to Arabic school as well, blood. That's your whole day gone. As a kid, realistically, me coming from a Western world, I'm not used to that. So I'm like, going to school twice, but that's a long thing. Second of all, you get beat as well. So that was also a long thing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like what it is, as I said, they're used to what they're used to. They've never had someone like me, or just Gambia in general. I've never had someone like me coming in to their society before, into their family before. I'm a new type of integration, and it's not like the Western world where you've been through certain things and you have certain technologies. And as I said, your country's so diverse to where you actually have the mindset to where you got to be mindful of certain things and be aware that this person might not have been through this, and this, and tapped into your emotions type of thing. So it's kind of like, as I said, it's just, it is what it is. You follow what you're following, can be, you know what I mean? So no one really took the time out and really recognized that, oh, this is a little Western you that we're gonna have to kind of teach properly, blood. He's not used to getting licks on, you know what I'm saying? So let's actually take him under our wing. Let's actually teach him properly. No one ever done that. So I feel like that's probably why I don't thought, or why I'm not on Dean now, because no one ever took the time to really teach me and guide me through them things there. You know what I mean? And I feel like for me to get back into what do you call it, to get back into practicing Deen and get back into Islam, it's probably a mindset thing. Because one, before I started this YouTube thing, bare family members saying, oh son, I start YouTube, but they just see bare people getting rich online and them thing there and think it's easy. So years, 1, 2, 3 years before I started YouTube, people telling me to say YouTube. I didn't start YouTube. Why? The mindset wasn't there. When I was actually in the mindset, now I'm a year in, 1,000 plus videos in, I'm still consistent with it. It's a mindset thing, you know what I'm saying? Everything with me is a mindset. So right now, I probably wouldn't go into or start practicing Islam again. Why? Because I'm concentrated on other things. Right now, I'm in a place where I'm on the foundation level of creating a career. You know what I'm saying? And that includes a lot, especially online, because there's not really a blueprint to go off. Obviously, many people have done it, but it's different for every single person, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of technicalities and differences are in there as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I wouldn't be concentrated on that right now. So it would definitely be in a later part of my life. But once again, the mindset would have to be there, because I always say to myself, I feel like I actually would one day go back into practicing Islam. But as I said, it's all a mindset thing. You might never know. I might have some next experience or whatever to where I'm like, oh, yo, I actually need to get on this. You know what I mean? But I've definitely also been the person, for example, I was speaking to another one of my Western friends one time, and he was basically, he himself doesn't necessarily follow what do you call it, he's also kind of like me. He doesn't necessarily follow or practice Islam, but his whole family is Muslim, because for him, his mom and dad are both Gambian. So he's in the Western world, but still with his Gambian family. His family still practice Islam, his older family members, younger family members as well, some of them. But as I said, no matter how strict you are, no matter if you practice your religion or not, when you're in the Western world, your kids will always kind of like branch out and do their own thing, kind of, you know what I mean? So one time, I feel like he was having a debate online with someone, because some Caucasian Donny was like, oh, religion doesn't exist, you don't know basically what happens after the afterlife, blah blah blah. And then Demba was like, yo, tell him, son, tell him. And because me, I've had different experience. I've had the Muslim experience, not necessarily the Christian side. Obviously, I've like gone to like certain family members' houses that do celebrate Christmas during Christmas time, but I've never really like gone to church, like all of them thing there, you know what I'm saying? So not necessarily the Christian side, but I've practiced Islam before, but not necessarily know what I was doing to an absolute T. And I've also had the side of my family where they're not necessarily follow any religion, but we have certain talks about religion. So kind of when he was like, yo son, I tell this guy, blood, you know what I'm saying, because we're Muslim, you know what I mean? Obviously there's only one place for you to go, there's only one outcome, all of them thing there. But I was like, do you really know? And then he was like, yo son, you're not supposed to say that. But that's the thing, because I've had multiple different I've had multiple facets on what the higher power is basically, so it makes me question certain things, you know what I mean? So just because I was in Gambia from 2006 to 2014, that's not necessarily all I believe in, you know what I'm saying? So I do question certain things, you get me? Well, no, I don't really think about it that much, but sometimes you do question certain things, like, oh, does it actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you really go there? Does he actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start to question certain things because I've been around so many different people, you know what I mean? And I've been moved around, been in both sides of the world basically, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the times and all of them things there. So that does create certain questions, you get me? But if I was to follow a religion, it would still be Islam. And if you ask me now, will you start practicing Islam one day? My answer would be yes, just not right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a bit of a booky one still. But that's basically my like religion journey and all of them things there. Hopefully you man got to understand all of them things there and them things there. Hopefully you can create a little discussions down below. Cause even the other day when I think I was listening to Gecko and I was saying the way that Gecko is a UK Manchester artist, but obviously UK, the way he sometimes sings or the way he sings, it sounds like someone's reading the Quran and someone was like, I know what you mean by the what do you call it, by the comment that I basically made, and appreciates the way I basically what do you call it? What did you say? He appreciates all the respect I have for Islam or whatever, but that's because I've been through it myself. But it's just been in increments, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, when you're learning something or when you're teaching something and you learn it in increments, you start to have different ideologies and a different mindset about different things. Whereas certain people that are Muslim, they've been Muslim their whole life or had a certain like near-death experience or mad experience, and then they become Muslim, a strong experience like that. For me, I haven't had neither. I haven't had the strong experience to where, okay, now I really need to concentrate on my religion, and I haven't been taught it in my life either. Even while I was in Gambia and I was praying all of them things there, sometimes my mum would be like, you don't have to follow you know what I'm saying, these religions if you don't want to, type of thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's all been different types of information, different types of, you know what I'm saying? So where's my mum's side of the family is basically you do what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Just be true to you. On my dad's side is basically you're going to be Muslim, not necessarily forcing me, but you are going to be Muslim, you are going to practice Islam, but then they don't have the mindset of, he actually needs to be taught certain things properly, you know what I mean? And as I said, I was young. I wasn't just gonna go out there saying, I don't know how to, because realistically, you're young, fam. As I said, you know what I'm saying? You want as much free time as you want. You don't want to go learn a little something. If I already go to school, I don't want to come out of school and learn something else, you know what I mean? You're a kid in them thing there. But yeah, man, that's basically my let's talk, or my journey of when it comes to religion, all of them thing there. So what you take away from this, as I said, is that when it comes to religion, it's just been in segments of my life. It's not been my whole life throughout when it comes to Islam. Number two, if you ask me right now in the future, would I start practicing Islam again? My answer would be yes. When? I don't know, blood. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, talk to me down below. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions, if you want to know anything else, do a part 2. Just let me know, basically. You know what I mean? And as I said, when it comes to these Let's Talk episodes, it's not always going to be this serious or a topic this deep. Sometimes it can just be anything random. The Let's Talk thing is just anything random and whatever I want to talk about. But I just thought, this is a good series idea. Let me start with this one right now. So, hey, hopefully you man enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Let me know about your experiences down below. Let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. Get certain discussions and going and all of them thing there. You know what I'm saying? And when I was starting to do these things, I was like, because when it comes to me and my channel, I'm a diverse channel. I'm a small diverse channel, basically. And when it comes to people watching my content, people still watch my content because of more so what I'm reacting to. So if I'm reacting to a video, majority of people are coming to the video because of what I'm reacting to, not necessarily for me. So when I do this video, for example, when I did my top 10 songs of December, I think the video's on like 40 views or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I'm still not at a place where I'm bringing people to videos because of me. So these videos won't get as much views, but it's a thing where you might as well start early and start, you know what I mean? And also create a diverse channel where you can talk about different things. You can joke around, get deep with it from the get-go, then wait till you're how big and now you're trying to divert, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, hopefully you might enjoy this one. I'm going to keep bringing different ideas into the picture and all of them things there. You're going to see different things coming in. And yeah, man, I'll catch you man in the next one. I'm out here, fam. In a bit, people. I'm gone. In a bit.
Bar after bar after bar after bar after bar, I'm too persistent. With income and no cash. Get it on my own, no collab. But if a bar with me, that's a body bag. Your mans want smoke, then he leaves with a toe tag. Whole squad hit with a double mag Glock. Got left in the street and the body's getting chucked. Bullets with names and your shit's getting popped. Better be with me and the bag's getting cocked. Still gotta chase the bag, humble. Ain't gotta brag in a league on my own, and my stats getting flagged. Hit me for the feet, got verses in stats. Come through like the queen, gotta pay that tax.